The city of Denver wants to make sure everyone gets the chance to vote the election year, including inmates. For the first time, officials are going through jails to update voter records and registrations. The Denver jail system has about 2,000 inmates.
That's really empowering thing to hear, because a lot of times we think that, we are forgotten, and we think that we don't have any say and that we don't make a difference.
Misdemeanor offenders and those awaiting trial can vote while in jail. Colorado allows convicted felons to vote after they have served their time and their parole expires. And here to talk about this effort is Juston Cooper of the Colorado Criminal Justice Reform Coalition.
Right.
So happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start first with this common misconception that anyone with a criminal record can't vote, because that's obviously not necessarily true.
Absolutely. It's actually not correct. And unfortunately, it's been a pervasive urban myth that is attributed to a lot of disenfranchisement of folks exercising their civil rights. In the state of Colorado, we do not actually exercise permanent disenfranchisement laws. In fact, bottom line is people who cannot vote, who are not eligible to vote, are folks who are serving a felony sentence in prison or on an extension of parole, or a felony sentence in a jail or halfway house. Other than that, it doesn't matter the criminal background. It's literally the status in their system that determines their eligibility to vote. And so we're talking hundreds of thousands of folks in the state of Colorado right now that with criminal backgrounds that are no longer involved in the system that had that misconception that they cannot vote. And it's just not true. And the more that we continue to perpetuate the wrong information, the more that it disenfranchises folks from their civil rights.
Yeah, they don't think they can, so they just don't.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in my humble opinion, I think, democracy works, right, when everyone gets the opportunity to exercise their voice. And that's why this information is so vitally important to the community.
Fascinating. All right, let's take a look at the actual statute. No person while serving a sentence of detention or confinement in a correctional facility, jail, or other location for a felony conviction, or while serving a sentence of parole, shall be eligible to register to vote or to vote in any election. However, a confined person who is awaiting trial but has not been tried shall be certified by the institutional administrator and shall be permitted to register to vote by mail registration pursuant to Part 5 of this article. I know a lot of words here, but last month there was an effort to make sure everyone in the Denver jail who is eligible to vote was registered. So how did that effort go?
Yes, in the Colorado Criminal Justice Reform Coalition, we were very excited to be a collaborative partner in that. Our organization, in conjunction with the Denver Elections Division and also our jail county, our Denver jail counties, came together and said, look, right now here's an opportunity to really get these folks who have been disenfranchised and marginalized because they have not been counted their actual civil right to vote. And so we met for about 6 months, really kind of ironing out what that process would be, what the requirements are, and how can we make it as efficient as possible. And so within the last 3 months, actually, when we first started this initiative, we have been able to register over 137 people. And with a return rate of around 10% who actually voted. And so it was a very significant win, in our humble opinion, and because it's the first time ever it's been done in the state of Colorado. And so we kind of look at this as a pioneering effort to hopefully it catches across the state that these are populations that absolutely should be exercising their right to vote if they are eligible.
So literally, how did you do it? How did you...
Great question, great question. Well, first and foremost, we had to identify what the rules and regulations, security provisions of the jails were, and the jails were very instrumental in helping us understand that process. Our second piece was meeting with the Denver Elections Division, where they really did a heavy lift of understanding, A, how the laws and statutes applied to folks who are serving sentences or in confinement, and B, then what would the administration process look like? And that A is literally, how do we have access to them? How do we have access to their information? How do we designate places to where we can get the opportunity to speak with them about the information? And also, how do we get the ballots to them? Which is very, very important, especially when considering that this effort was around the primary, right? And so we are looking at continuing this effort throughout the general as well. And so that was literally how we put together the step-by-step process, and we developed a jail-based, voting from jail-based brochure that literally walks folks who are currently incarcerated through the process of as far as how to apply in order to register to vote.
How did they respond to this?
Great question. I tell you, it was overwhelming. Happy response. And I say that because we had one particular gentleman that came up to us while we were there and said, if you guys were not doing this, I don't think I would have ever thought to vote. And in that moment, we actually had a standing ovation at the downtown Denver detention center from folks who were inmates there that was applauding our efforts. And so it was very well received, and people were very excited about learning, that they could vote, because a lot of them did not know. And that is one of the key things that we have found that is profoundly throughout our state, is that people just don't know that they can or cannot, especially if they have a criminal background.
Because you know, when you go to vote, you see people, they're very happy, very proud to wear their stickers that says, I voted.
Yeah.
What does this do, what does this do to their psyche when they know they have that opportunity when, as you say, they didn't think they had the opportunity?
Well, I tell you, it A, empowers them. B, it re-engages them into our democracy. And there was an example that I would love to share in reference to a gentleman who came to our site where our organization is housed at and said, I heard that you guys were helping folks register to vote if they have criminal backgrounds. And we said, absolutely, because what we have been doing at CCJRC is what we call voter registration assistance. And so when this gentleman came in, we walked him through the process, went on the Secretary of State's website and registered him to vote, and he literally cried. He said over 4 decades he had not voted and did not know. And he was a person who was formerly incarcerated and did not think that he could vote.
Sure.
And so when he actually registered, and we actually print off the certificate showing them that they are registered, he cried.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, great work, and good luck to you. It sounds like a great effort, and we appreciate you coming here to share your insight with us and your progress. So thank you,
Absolutely.
Juston.
Thank you so much. And if I can say one last thing, and that is, folks, please get out there to vote. Know the information is vitally important, and it's your civil right to vote, and that's the only way that democracy works.
There
is
you
if
go.
we all participate.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.